Alright, so I'm doing this a little different using my GoPro on the stick. So we'll see how well it turns out. I guess if you're viewing this, then I thought it turned out well enough to post. But understand, saltwater can jack up your boat and your trailer. I bought my Mako behind me here about 8.5 years ago. I bought it new. It's a center console bay boat, but it lived its first probably 5 years as a freshwater boat, fishing locally here in San Antonio. We drug it up one summer to Michigan where we have family on Saginaw Bay and went out walleye fishing, so all good. And then I'd been to the coast a few times, fishing from docks and piers, and I really wanted to get my boat down there and do some fishing. So I asked a lot of questions on some of the local fishing forums about, where to go, what to do, this, that, and the other thing. And one comment stuck out was a guy said, "Hey, Corrosive X, everything will rust." And so I'm trying. This video is for the person who's in my shoes that I was in 3 years ago when I decided to go down there, and give a little more detail on what he meant and clarify some of it. So, of course, there's all those exterior points you want to put some Corrosive X on, and this trailer actually isn't a good design for saltwater because it's channeled, so the water gets inside it, right? It drains out the back here, but there's no really good way to rinse it. So eventually, I'm sure my trailer is going to rot out. Hopefully, I get another 3 or 4 years out of it. So the I-beam type design, where you can access all the workings of the trailer, would probably be a better design for down in saltwater. But this is what my Mako bay boat came with, so that's what I'm going to use. And I came back, I noticed some rusting around lug nuts, right? Rusting along some of the welds on the trailer down here, right by my foot there, right? So after each trip down there, I would find new things that I needed to use Corrosive X on to keep from corroding. I've got the old 12-volt plug-in thing. Used to be a cigarette lighter, but now it's just a 12-volt plug-in. Got one on the center console, never used it. I have a charger for my phone in a dry box just in case I need to do that. So one day I opened up, it's got a rubber cap on it, right? It's sealed. Opened that up and looked inside, and it's blue-green corrosion. So that was pretty much shot. And then last year I started developing some issues. Me and Joel were fishing on Canyon Lake, and the trolling motor wasn't acting right. And so I finally had him unplug it, and we looked at the plug itself, and you think that plugs in and it seals because it's rubber and it's got all these caps, but there's corrosion on the plug, right? So we scraped it real good, put it back together, and it worked that time. And then when I came home, Corrosive X, right, and scraped it real good. But then I had continuous problems with the trolling motor where if it worked hard, it would pop a fuse. There's a switchable fuse in line on the main power source to it, and it would pop that fuse, and I would lose power to the trolling motor. So I'm digging into that, and so I'll come up here and show you. So eventually, all right, I pulled this cover off of the plug that was on it, and the whole apparatus inside of this was corroded. Even though, hey, it's rubber, it seals, right? Not so much. So I had to replace this plug, and that's one of the things I coat with Corrosive X is the inside of this thing, okay? The next thing was this plug where it mates up to. I had to pull this out, and sure enough, it was corroded as well on all its contacts, so I had to replace that as well. So that's one of the major issues I had dealing with the corrosion on the boat. Another one was the trailer lighting. I had my when I'd hook up my trailer lights and turn my lights on, it would blow a fuse on my truck that controlled the lights. And so started digging, and basically everywhere there's wiring making a connection. So at the tail lights here, right, at the marker lights up on the fender there, right, everywhere there was a connection, a wiring connection, there was corrosion, right? So I had to replace some of the wiring, and so now that's another thing that gets sprayed with Corrosive X, right? Let's see, is that about it for all the bad stuff? Those are the two worst issues I had, was the trolling motor wiring getting corroded, and the trailer wiring for the lights getting corroded. So it's not, am I still going to go down to the salt? Yes, I am. Am I going to spray Corrosive X on all those plus the other places? Yes, I am. The wheels, you start to see a little bit of rust on the wheels. I'm spraying the wheels, spraying the lug nuts. And I'll probably learn a couple new places along the way that I still haven't got. Right? I looked up in the fuse panel, and a lot of the wiring isn't very well protected for a bay boat that should be able to go in salt water. So I'm redoing some of the wiring, and I'm spraying Corrosive X in there. That's one thing good about Corrosive X. It can be used in moist environments. It actually helps remove moisture away, and you can use it around electrical connections. It won't hurt the electrical connection or electrical pieces of equipment you're using. So those are some of them. Oh, and one more is my Lowrance. You know, I leave the boat out here in the driveway, so there's no way I'm leaving my Lowrance on it. So I take it off every time. So I looked at the plug on the Lowrance, and sure enough, started some corrosion on the plug on the Lowrance. So when you come back, you know, you spray down your fishing rods when you go to the coast, spray down your reels. Some people, some don't. We always stay at a place that has hose, water for the boat, so I can hook up the muffs, right? Run the muffs, fresh water to get that salt water out of the engine, because that's the most expensive thing on this boat, right? And then we always give it a wash down, the trailer and the boat a wash down. But there's still certain areas that it's hard to wash down, but the salt water can still get to them, so you need to protect them. So pretty simple video. Just wanted to show you some of the lessons I learned the hard way about going in the salt. Again, it's not going to stop me from going. We're going down there in about 3 weeks. And then we're going another month after that. We got back-to-back trips here coming up, so hopefully I get some good video of us catching some fish. If you haven't seen it yet, check out our Veterans Day trip to the coast, 2017, last year. A buddy of ours, Robert Aguilera, he put us on some bull reds down there. So anyways, Corrosive X, protect those things that aren't already protected by some kind of coating or sealant, and it'll save you some headaches. And look in those places you don't normally look. You know, look at your battery terminals even, and that's someplace you should be looking anyways. But check those too, because again, if the air can get to it, the salt water, the moisture can get to it, and it's gonna get to it. All right, so that's my tip for this week. Hopefully my next video, I'm actually on the water doing some fishing. We got a fishing trip coming up this Saturday, but we got 50% chance of thunderstorms, so we'll see. I don't worry about a little bit of rain, but I don't want to mess around with all that lightning out there. Okay, so everybody take it easy and peace out. Oh, by the way, subscribe down below if you haven't. If the video helped you, or if you liked it, like it. If you got some buddies that might need this information, share it. You got some comments that might help other people, stuff that I didn't cover or didn't think of, go ahead and make some comments down below. I really appreciate it. All right, folks, thank you. Peace out.